Hey guys, today I'm going over the most fun to play blaster in Battlefront 2, Han Solo. He's very versatile and can take down people at any range. That is, once you learn how to play him correctly. To help you play him better, I'll go over his stats, abilities, star cards, and more in this video. And if there's anything you specifically want to hear about, then you can skip to that spot by using the timestamps on this video. But now, getting into the video. Most blaster heroes don't have very strong health, meaning you have to be very careful with them, and Han is no exception. He has an average base health of 650 and can regenerate a decent 200 health, with a delay of 5 seconds, which is certainly not bad. Han uses his heavily modified DL-44 to deal a great bit of damage. Does 160 damage to the head, meaning you can one-shot infantry to the head, and does 80 damage to the body, which certainly isn't bad. And that damage does go down to 110 to the head and 55 to the body at range. The drop off then starts at 20 meters. It has a decently slow rounds per minute of 175, but remember he can two-shot people to the body, and that also means there is zero spread, so it's really not bad. The overheat also isn't great at 8 shots, but that can be increased with star cards. Han has 3 very powerful abilities that are all centered around doing lots of damage. The first ability is Detonate Charge. Han throws a sticky charge which can be detonated at will. It does 200 damage, which is really good, and it has a decent full blast radius of 5 meters and will deal damage up to 10 meters, which is quite good. Along with that, it will knock down opponents, giving you a chance to land a couple of extra shots. Then it has a pretty okay cooldown of 18 seconds. It's definitely not short, but for such a powerful ability, that's not too bad. For my keynotes, detonate it as soon as you can, or as soon as it gets to your enemies so they can't get out of the way. Or also, don't use it like a proximity mine and wait to detonate it the second someone walks by it. It just doesn't work nearly as well like that. But one way to not detonate it immediately is to explode it behind a lightsaber hero that is blocking, because that will knock them down more often than when you activate it where a lightsaber is blocking. That will also send the ragdoll towards you, making it easy to get in a couple extra shots. Han's middle ability is Sharpshooter. This allows his DL-44 to rapid fire for a few seconds. It increases the rate of fire to 350 but lowers the damage to 65 up close. Along with that, it has a pretty wide spread, so it's not very useful against long range enemies. It lasts for 25 seconds, but it's reduced by 2 seconds per shot, so you can fire a decent 12 shots before you run out. Then it has a pretty short cooldown of 15 seconds. For my keynotes, be really careful how you use this. You're going to be incredibly exposed and you can't dodge out of the way. So maybe activate it before you see a big group of enemies and when they don't see you, because you really don't want to activate it while in the middle of shooting someone, since it will most likely be quicker to just keep shooting regular bullets and you will be an easier target. So against lightsabers, it's important to make sure they're not too close to you, or else they will rip you apart even if you successfully land shots. Make sure you have distance so it's impossible for them to close the distance without you shooting them. Overall, this just isn't a great ability, so don't overuse it. Han's final ability is Shoulder Charge. With this ability, Han will charge forward and knock down and deal damage to the first person he hits. It does a really good 200 damage to non-heroes and 150 damage to heroes, and it can even go through block, making it hard for people to avoid it. And you can do all of this for a short cooldown of 10 seconds. For my keynotes, it can leave you exposed against infantry, so it's not smart to use this ability in front of a bunch of enemies, as you can only take down one person at a time. So you're left just standing in front of a bunch of people when you're going to be easily taking damage. Also, with this ability you can knock down people, so don't miss the opportunity to keep firing at people on the ground. Also, it can be used decently to run away, as you can get behind cover. It's not the best for this, but it can be useful. Han is easily one of the most dominant blaster heroes in GA and Supremacy because of his ability to take out enemies at all ranges quickly and a great multi-kill explosive. So for my tips, don't get too close to people if you don't need to, unless you're using Detonate Charge. For characters like Leia, they can rush in with E11 and take out everyone. But with a slower rate of fire, it can be really dangerous to get close. Remember, Han does great damage at mid-range. If you are going to get up close, make sure to use your abilities well so you don't get melted. And that's pretty much Han Solo's playstyle. Go in and get a kill with detonate charge and shoulder charge, then fall back and pick off enemies. He's not someone I would suggest constantly being on the front lines with, once again, like Leia or Finn. In my opinion, Han has 4 cards that are worth using in Galactic Assault. The first one is Airburst. This card lets detonate charge do more damage when you activate it while it's still in the air, which is super useful because that means it can do more damage and can hurt people in a wider radius. The next card is Smuggler's Wits. This one gives Han a 3rd dodge. While it's not always super important in cheaper game modes, it can still help you out a ton since you're so vulnerable as a blaster hero. That extra dodge will help you against heroes and can help you get behind cover quicker or make you harder to hit. Overall, it helps him out. The last 2 cards that you can change out are Heavily Modified Blaster, which lets Han's DL-44 shoot more before overheating, and All In, which gives Shoulder Charge a short recharge every time you kill someone with it. The first card is good because overheating can leave you screwed, but All In is good because Shoulder Charge can save your life. Personally, I like Heavily Modified Blaster. Because Han can take out enemies at any range, he's good for almost any map, but if I had to choose 3, I'd go with Starkiller Base, because there is lots of cover while also being able to get multi-kills, especially in that second phase. Then Jakku, because like Starkiller Base, there is cover but it's tight enough to get kills, and finally Geonosis, since he can basically snipe a bunch of people. Han is also great in hero game modes because Detonate Charge, Sharpshooter, and Shoulder Charge can all do so much damage, plus that 3rd roll makes him impossible to hit. So for her HVV, Han has a much more aggressive playstyle. So for my tips, just abuse that 3rd roll. Go after your enemies and keep dodging, then lay down Detonate Charges and shoot them a bunch, then Shoulder Charge them and shoot them even more. And boom, you can now pretty much dominate with Han. Another really important thing is to be persistent. Keep shooting them and don't let them ever regain health. With your short cool off time for your blaster, it's totally possible to do. Then as you keep up the pressure, your abilities will eventually recharge and you can deal more damage. For my star cards, it's pretty much the same loadout as for cheaper game modes, but without All In. Airburst is great for doing heavy damage, then being able to knock people down. Then Smuggler's Wits is the most important one since that 3rd roll is what sets Han apart from all the other blasters. It makes him super hard to hit and allows him to survive much longer. And finally, Heavily Modified Blaster, since you need that to deal more damage against heroes without having to cool down. My final topic is heroes to watch out for. The first one is Vader, since a good Vader will choke you every time. Then Kylo, since a pull, freeze, and frenzy combo can destroy you in a second and give you no chance to kill him. And finally, Iden, since she can block detonate with her shield and then kill you quickly with her stun droid. But that's all I have for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and now you know how to play Han Solo better. He's a fun character to start out with, but once you get good with him, you'll realize how awesome his aggressive playstyle is and how much he dominates. But I'll see you next time. Bye.